Hi scholars, Miss Dodd here. We are now on Domain 10, lesson number 9. Never leave until tomorrow what you can do today. Yesterday we discussed George Washington, who was the first president of our country, and you had to do this activity in which you had to draw a picture of George Washington and then write 6 facts about him. We are also going to be doing the same thing today, only instead of George Washington, we will be doing it on Benjamin Franklin. Picture of Benjamin Franklin and the 6 facts. Oh, we have a guest very quickly.
Hi guys. I meant hi scholars.
Bye, Sophia.
Bye.
Sophia also is working on some first grade work from home, and she has not gotten herself dressed yet. So she's still in her pajamas, and I'm sure some of you are also in your pajamas as well. Yes, Sophia?
I'm sorry if everyone has to stay at home. It's really sad.
Bye, Sophia. Okay. All right, so we will be doing this for Benjamin Franklin, and you should have done the same exact thing for George Washington. We're now going to get started with our vocabulary. All righty, our very first word for vocabulary is the word almanac, and an almanac is a yearly publication that includes a calendar and other helpful information. So, yearly publication, it means a piece of writing that comes out every year. And it will have a calendar and other helpful information. So, it gives farmers tips on when they should plant, when the best time to plant is. Usually, almanacs will have weather and other things that farmers would find useful, other types of information. Our next word is the word apprentice. An apprentice is somebody who's being trained for a job by somebody who knows how to do the job well. So when I was in college, I was being trained to be a teacher. So I was something called a student teacher. And a student teacher is somebody who hasn't graduated yet, but they want to be a teacher. So they'll go into a classroom and they work with somebody who is a teacher, and they get to take turns teaching lessons and running the classroom. And so there's somebody who's being trained for a job by somebody else who already knows how to do that job. Next, we have the word invention. And an invention is an object that has been created for the very first time. If you are the person who's creating an invention, you are called an inventor. Even something as simple as this pen is an invention. Somebody had to design it and figure out how it would be made. Invention. A car is an invention. The radio, the telephone, the TV, all of the things that we use in our regular daily life that we don't even think about, somebody had to figure out how to do it, and they had to think about it. And they said that this was some sort of problem that there was, and they said, I want to figure out a way to solve this problem. What can I do to make this problem better? So that's what an invention is, okay? We're now going to get started with our story, okay? So, like George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, let's take a quick look at him. Again, this is Benjamin Franklin. He was one of the founding fathers of our country. Excuse me, scholars. So remember, a founding father is one of the 3 men, George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, who first helped to create our country. They attended Continental Congress. They were signers of Declaration of Independence. Thomas Jefferson was the writer. And all 3 of those men helped in very important ways to help our country become the United States of America and to help us receive our independence from Britain. So Benjamin Franklin was never a president, but he was a very wise man and he had wonderful ideas. You'll remember that Franklin was part of the Continental Congress. He was a signer of the Declaration of Independence, and he was a representative in both Great Britain and France. He was all over the place. Now, long before his days in government, Benjamin Franklin was a successful businessman in Philadelphia. Remember, that's part of Pennsylvania. He had always been a good reader and a writer, and as a boy, he had been an apprentice in his brother's printing shop. Remember, an apprentice is somebody learning how to do a job from somebody who already knows how to do it. So his brother had a printing shop, so that means his brother already knew how to be a printer, and Benjamin Franklin was an apprentice, so that means that he would go and learn how to do that job from his brother. So when he moved to Philadelphia, Benjamin Franklin set up his own printing shop, and he started his own newspaper, which eventually became the busiest printer in the American colonies. So he became so good at his job that he was the most busy of all of the printers. And let's take a look at Benjamin Franklin being a printer. So right here we can see the print shop, and we can see the different jobs that there would be. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to find my page. Oh my goodness, and I do have some shout outs that I need to give at the end. Can't believe I forgot to do shout outs in the beginning, so just hold on tight with me. Alrighty. Now, we're going to learn about something called Poor Richard's Almanac, okay? For more than 25 years, Benjamin Franklin published a series of books that were called Poor Richard's Almanac. In his almanac, often it was the only book that people would buy. So pretty much his book was so important that other people wouldn't even buy books. They would only buy his almanac. They would just buy one book and it would be his book. It contained lots of practical information that they wanted to know. For example, the almanac had a calendar with the times of the sunrise and the sunset. Today we listen to weather forecasts on the radio or television, but back then, people looked in their almanacs to find out what the weather would be like. So think about that. If you are a farmer, you need to know what the weather will be like. You'll need to know when sun rises and sun sets because you'll need to be doing your work. The almanac also had stories and poems as well as puzzles, jokes, and lots of advice. Franklin included many wise sayings, many of which are still used today. Have you ever heard someone say, "Never leave until tomorrow what you can do today"? What do you think that means? Benjamin Franklin must have lived by his own words because he got so much done. He was never still for a minute. His brain was working constantly, spilling over with questions and ideas. Never leave until tomorrow what you can do today means that if there's something that needs to be done and you are able to do it today, then you should get it done. Don't wait for another time because that other time might not come. Okay? Now, let me show you a quick picture of Poor Richard's Almanac. Now, this book is going to look quite different than what we imagine books to look like. Okay? Right, so this is Poor Richard's Almanac. It was created on a printing press. And the pages, see, they're a little bit rough because we didn't have smooth paper and we had to bind it. Usually we would sew the pages together down the side to bind a book. Okay? Now, Benjamin Franklin had a keen interest in science and the way things work. As a young boy in Boston, he spent much of his time swimming in the harbor. Remember, we've talked about Boston Harbor. What happened in Boston Harbor? That's right, the Boston Tea Party. He was pretty good, but he wanted to be even better and faster. One day he thought of a way he could be a faster swimmer. He found some wood and he carved some wooden paddles to fit over his hands and his feet, kind of like flippers that divers use today. And when he swam with those, he was much faster, probably faster than other children his age. Let's take a quick look at that. So he invented those. They did not exist. And he had a problem, which was he didn't feel that he was very fast. And so he created the flippers that allowed him to be faster. Notice how they cover his hands and they cover his feet. These almost look like a duck's foot. And think of how good ducks are at swimming, okay? As Benjamin Franklin grew older, he continued to invent new things. Anytime he saw a problem, he tried to invent a way to fix it. He had 2 pairs of glasses, one for reading and one to help him see things far away. So his glasses for reading would help him see things close up, and then his far away glasses helped him to see things away from him. He didn't like having to switch between both pairs of glasses all day though, so he asked a glass cutter to slice all of his lenses in half. And then he made one new pair of glasses with the distance lenses, so the ones that help him see far away, on the top, and the close-up lenses on the bottom. And Benjamin Franklin had just invented bifocal glasses that are still worn by people today. In fact, my mom actually wears bifocals. And I'll show you what those bifocals look like. So he did have just one regular pair of glasses for far away and one pair for close up, but he had to switch them all the time. So what he did was he had a glass cutter cut the lenses in half, and so the top are the lenses for far away and the bottom are the lenses for close up. So by having bifocals, he doesn't have to switch. He always has his far away lenses and he always has his close up lenses all in one pair of glasses. While he was sitting by a fire one night, Benjamin Franklin watched warm air disappearing up from the chimney, and he wondered how he could trap more warm air into his house. He made a wood-burning stove out of iron. It put out twice as much heat as a regular fireplace, and it burned less wood. This stove was named the Franklin stove after its inventor. So a couple of things he's already invented. He invented wooden flippers for your feet. He invented bifocals, and now he's invented the Franklin iron stove. Looks like this. Okay. Now, lightning was another thing that fascinated Benjamin Franklin, so something he was interested in. He watched houses and barns burn to the ground when they were struck by lightning. Could it be, he wondered, that lightning was electricity? He was going to find out. A legend about Benjamin Franklin's experiment with a kite during a lightning storm goes like this. And remember, a legend is a story that people tell, and we can't prove if it's true or false. Sometimes it's fiction, sometimes it's non-fiction, and it's just something that tells about a situation. It's a tall tale. So it's a legend. Usually it will have some sort of exaggeration, okay? But a legend about Thomas Jefferson's experiment with a kite goes like this. So he's in a lightning storm. One day, Benjamin Franklin took his son William out to the middle of a thunderstorm with lightning raging all around them. He tied a little metal key near the end of the string of a kite. Okay, let me show you this quickly. So it's a thunderstorm and there's lightning all over, and he has a kite and he is tying a metal key to the string of the kite. Okay, let's close up, see if you can see it right here. Do you see this is the key? This is the string, and we can't really see the kite, but it would be up here, okay? Oh, this is Benjamin Franklin, and that's his son, William. All right. Benjamin Franklin was pretty sure that if lightning was electricity, then flying a kite in a thunderstorm would cause the key to become charged with electricity. He kept touching the key as the kite flew above their heads. As fibers on the kite string stood on end, Benjamin Franklin felt a little shock. He was right. Lightning was electricity. Benjamin Franklin used his new discovery to invent the lightning rod. And the lightning rod is a pole that helps carry electricity away from buildings and into the ground. His invention is still used today to prevent fires caused by lightning strikes. Okay? So he invented, let's think about what did he invent so far? The flippers, the bifocals, Franklin stove, lightning rod. Okay? Benjamin Franklin's list of inventions goes on and on. The next time you rock back and forth in a rocking chair, thank Benjamin Franklin for helping you relax. This clever man invented a rocking chair with a fan to help people keep cool while they rocked. I have actually never had a rocking chair like that, but that would be pretty awesome. But this is just a picture of a regular rocking chair. Okay. In 1790, so just 3 years after the Constitution was written for our country, Benjamin Franklin died peacefully in his sleep at the age of 84. 20,000 people attended his funeral, and at the time, that was the biggest funeral to ever be held in Philadelphia. Bells rang and flags flew at half-mast as signs of respect for one of America's greatest heroes. So if a flag is flying at half-mast, it means that it's not flying all the way at the top of the flagpole. So this is the flag that we would have had during that time. Remember, it has the 13 stars for the 13 colonies, and then it has the 13 stripes. And it's at half-mast. It's halfway down the pole right here, okay? All right, quick comprehension questions, and then I'll do my quick shout-outs. All right, comprehension question 1. What did Benjamin Franklin do at his brother's printing shop? Oh, and don't forget, he also was a writer, and he wrote something. What did he write? Okay. What are some things that Benjamin Franklin invented? And what do you think you could ask a neighbor about or read aloud that starts with the word invention? So you could ask a neighbor or a friend or somebody at your house about a type of invention that they know about, or something that they would want to invent themselves. Okay, that's pretty much all I have for you. Don't forget, this guy needs to be completed. And then also I want to give my shout outs. Shout out again to Rich Love, and I also need to give a shout out to Amari in the Dayton classroom yesterday. She sent me a picture of her Yankee Doodle illustration. So again, a shout out to Rich Love and a shout out to Amari. Thank you, scholars. Have a great day.